Soul is a Pixar film produced by Pete Docter. It is about Joe Gordon. He is a high school teacher who's getting a permanent gig. However, he's not sure if he wants to get that because he is going to play with the legendary Dorothea Williams. He's a jazz pianist who has been struggling to make it big, and he finally has his big break. However, he's a little too cocky, and he ends up having a near-death experience, and he ends up in the great beyond. So he's supposed to walk towards the light, but he doesn't want to, so he decides to stray from the path and ends up in the great before, which is like this sort of way station for new souls to be born into the world. And he's able to hide out there, and all of the minders don't really notice, but he teams up with a very childish soul named 22 who doesn't want to go be birthed. She just wants to be sort of just, she just wants to be lazy, basically. She spent thousands of years in this way station, and so he pretends to be her mentor so he can sort of stay undercover, and the two of them try to figure out a way for Joe to get back to his body so that he can go do that jazz thing. So this movie is pretty interesting. It takes place with the afterlife. There's a lot of heavy themes, really good usage of jazz as a main component of the score, but also the main character's love of passion of music. There's a couple of good scenes in there. The movie has some good twists in the middle. But overall, I also felt like the movie felt kind of like two halves. There was like the fantasy half, and then there was the sort of living life, the real half, and the real half's more interesting. I didn't really like the not say the magic system, but yeah, the sort of rule system for the Great Beyond is really fast and loose. It's not quite lock solid like, let's say, Inside Out. Like, for example, people can just dip in and out if you're in the zone or whatever, and then there's just all sorts of just making up stuff as we go, and I didn't really like that. I played it very fast and loose, but the cast does a really good job with the voice acting. The story's okay. It's just, I thought it was all right. It wasn't one of the best Pixar films I've seen. It felt a little bit like we've seen sort of this stuff before. So I give Soul a 6 out of 10.